Aloha friends, welcome back. I apologize for not being able to make any videos recently. We had a really busy graduation season, so now I'm catching my breath and I wanted to do a quick little tutorial with these gorgeous Malo ʻulu that I got from my friend. These are the sheath of the flower on the ʻulu tree, and you can make a really gorgeous kind of orange yellow lei out of the dried flower that falls to the ground. So right now I'm just putting them in a bowl because we need to rehydrate them a little bit. So I've placed my Malo ʻulu in a bowl with some cold water, and I'm adding some hot water to it so it forms kind of a tepid, lukewarm soaking solution for the Malo ʻulu. I think I made a little bit of mistake in this one. The water was a little bit too hot and they softened really quickly, and they were a little too soggy and too soft. So just use maybe tap water with a little bit of hot water added. And then you let them soak for a couple minutes until they're nice and pliable. Once your Malo ʻulu is ready to go, so it's nice and pliable and you feel like it's the right texture where you can twist it, you want to drain it. And then what I did was I drained it, put it in a tea towel, rolled it up, and gently pressed on it to remove all the moisture. And like I said before, I made the mistake of letting these guys sit too long, and I think the water was a little bit too hot, but it was okay. I dried them off and they still worked out pretty well, not too bad. So you want to make sure to use only kind of the longer ones, maybe avoid ones that have rips or tears because those are going to come apart really easily when you're twisting it. Because the way that I made this one, and I'm sure there's lots of different ways that you can make this kind of lei, but I just mimicked the hilo style that you use when you're making a regular tea leaf lei. So it's the twist, and then fold over, twist, fold over. So what I did here was I tied two long pieces together, and that was my starting point. And then I made sure it's tight enough and that it wasn't going to break. And then I weighed it down with my trusty 10-pound fancy weight that I use to weigh down all my lei. And I use that to start the lei. So you weigh it down and then you do the twist to one side and then fold over. I like to get my twist started early. You can see I'm doing it here really little because it's such a little bit to work with. But so you get the twist, and then you fold over, and then you add just like you would for a regular tea leaf lei made in the hilo style. Okay, so now that you have your base going, you have maybe a couple inches of length and you've reached the bottom of those initial two pieces. Just like you would in a regular hilo style tea leaf lei, you take another piece and you lay it on top of the short end, twist it in, and then fold over, and then you repeat. So whenever you get to the short end of your Malo ʻulu, take a new one. The longer, thicker ones seem to work the best. So you take a new one and you place it on top of your short piece and just twist it in. And then you repeat until you have the length of the lei that you want. So when your lei is pau, you can either leave all these rough pieces sticking out, which I think looks really nice, especially if you mix it with a second lei or even a third lei. I recently made a lei that was the 1,000 eucalyptus punches, and then I wrapped Malo ʻulu hilo style lei over that, and then I wrapped another hilo leilai over that. So it's this really pretty combination of the red, orange, yellow of the Malo ʻulu with the light green of the eucalyptus and the dark green of the leilai, and it looked really pretty together. So you can trim it if you want and give it a little bit of a smoother look, or you could leave it rough. Both look really nice, and this is just a really fun material to work with. And I think I mentioned this on my Instagram. I don't know the context of or the appropriateness of this lei. I feel like this lei may have some deeper meaning that I'm not very knowledgeable about. It could be a spicier lei, especially since this is the sheath of the ʻulu fruit, and that could have different connotations. So I'm not very knowledgeable about that part, but it's very aesthetically pleasing and I think a really pretty lei. So now I'm just trimming up this lei. Like I said before, you can leave it as is with all the bits and pieces poking out, which I think looks really nice. Or you can trim it and make it into a smoother looking lei. You can twist it with another leilai. You can twist it with a whole bunch of different kinds of lei. I think the combination of the red and orange and yellow against the green is really pretty.